Hello and welcome to Math Basics. During this video, we are going to go over Roman numerals, ratios, proportions, conversions, and temperature conversions. So let's go ahead and get started with Roman numerals. Now with Roman numerals, the key here is to start memorizing your Roman numeral symbols. So either a lowercase I or an uppercase I will stand for 1. V, which could be uppercase or lowercase, will be 5. Same as goes for all of the other Roman numerals. So you have X is equal to 10, L is equal to 50, C is equal to 100, D is equal to 500, and M is equal to 1,000. Now, the biggest thing about Roman numerals that could get confusing is that we have to abide by several rules when we're putting in Roman numerals. So Roman numerals are never repeated more than 3 times in a row. So as you see here, we have X which is 10 with 3 I's following it. So that's the Roman numeral for 13. So we can repeat the 1 3 times. However, if we have an X with 4 I's behind it, that's not acceptable. It's not considered a Roman numeral because it's not following the rules. For rule number 2, when a Roman numeral is repeated or when a smaller number follows a larger number, they are added together. So if we have I, we have 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is equal to 3. Same goes for the next example, that we have 5 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, and that's equal to 8. For rule number 3, when a smaller numeral comes before a larger numeral, the 1 of lesser value is subtracted from the 1 of larger value. So here I have Ix. I have a small number followed by a larger number. So we take 10 minus 1, which that would be the Roman numeral for 9. When a numeral of smaller value comes between 2 numerals of larger value, the subtraction rule is always applied first, and then we apply the addition rule. Okay, so if we have xiv, I have a smaller number in between 2 larger numbers. So I have 10 plus 5 minus 1. 5 minus 1 is in parentheses, so that's 4, so 10 plus 4 is equal to 14. A couple other examples that I can show you is if I had xxix, okay? So I have 2 x's repeating themselves, so I have 10 plus 10 plus, we have that smaller number in between 2 larger numbers, so that's 10 minus 1. So we have to apply the subtraction rule first, which is 9. So I have 10 plus 10 is 20 plus 9, so this is the Roman numeral for 29. Next thing that we're going to go over is ratios. A ratio expresses the relationship of 2 numbers. So if I have 1 colon 4, it's going to be read as 1 to 4. 1 to 4 can also be written as a fraction of 1 over 4. Now in a pharmacy, ratios are used to express concentration. Now with that being said, the equations that are provided for certain problems in pharmacy only require a percentage. We cannot use the ratios. So we have to learn how to convert ratios into percentages. So the best way for me to explain this is if we rewrite the ratio as a fraction and then we divide. So if I have 1 to 4, I have 1 over 4. I divide 1 divided by 4, I get 0.25, then I multiply by 100 to get my percentage. So if I had 3 over 5 and I wanted to convert that to a percentage, which as a ratio would be 3 to 5, I would take 3 over 5 times 100. So left number divided by right number times 100, so this would be 60%. Next, what we're going to do is use proportions to solve for x. Now to solve for x, we must use what we call cross multiplication. When I have a proportion, it means that one side is equal to the other. So I have 2 over 10 is equal to x over 20. We want to figure out what that x is. So what we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. I have 10 times x is equal to 2 times 20. I'm left with 10x is equal to 40. I'm going to divide both sides by 10, so my 10 cancels. I'm left with x is equal to 40 over 10, and I have x is equal to 4. Now, proportions are very important when we use them in conversions. Now, conversions are very important in the pharmacy setting. When we use our conversions, we want to go ahead and locate our conversion factor table in our book. If I were to convert 3 teaspoons is equal to milliliters, I want to locate my conversion between teaspoons to milliliters. Now when I look in my conversion chart, I see that 5 mLs is equal to 1 teaspoon. I'm going to set up my proportion. So here one's not given. We set it up on our own, and this could be one of the most difficult pieces, but I'm going to give you a few tips. On the left side of the conversion, we put what we know. What we know is our conversion factor. I know that there's 5 mLs for every 1 teaspoon. On the right side, we're going to put what we're solving for. So here's our problem. I want to convert 3 teaspoons to mLs. Because I have mLs on top on the left-hand side, I must have mLs on top on the right-hand side. Now I chose to put x there because that's what we're solving for. We don't know this, so that's where our x is going to be. And then I put my teaspoons on the bottom, so 3 teaspoons. I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. I'm going to cross multiply, and I get x is equal to 15 mLs. So 3 teaspoons is equal to 15 milliliters. Let's go ahead and do one more. It's going to look a little bit different. We're going to use a different conversion factor. So if I said to you 120 mLs is equal to how many ounces, I'm going to go ahead and locate my conversion factor between mLs and ounces. I have 30 mLs is equal to 1 ounce. That's my conversion factor. So on the left side of the proportion, I'm going to put what we know. What we know is our conversion factor. So I have 30 mLs over 1 ounce. On the right side is what we're solving for. Now since I have mLs on top on the left-hand side, I'm going to leave mLs on top on the right, and I'm going to put my x ounces on the bottom because we don't know. I'm going to bring my equal sign down. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So I have 30x, 30 times x, 100 is equal to 120. I want to go ahead and solve for x by dividing both sides by 30. So 30 will cancel on the left, so I'm left with x equals 4 ounces. Last but not least for this video, we're going to learn how to convert temperature. Now, there are several different ways that you can convert temperature. The universal equation is 9C is equal to 5F minus 160. Or you can use a grouping of 2 different equations, which we have equation A, which is degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times degrees Celsius plus 32. Equation B is degrees Celsius is equal to Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. I like to use the 2 equations because you can choose, because if you're solving for degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to use equation A. If we're solving for degrees Celsius, we're going to use equation B. So let's go ahead and take a look at, I'll do some examples here for you. I'm going to split the screen into 2. I'm going to say that I have 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want to know how many degrees Celsius that is. Now because I'm solving for degrees Celsius, I'm going to use the equation degrees Celsius is equal to F minus 32 divided by 1.8. Now where the F is located in the equation, that's where I'm going to put my Fahrenheit. So I have degrees C is equal to 98.6 minus 32 over 1.8. Now when you're putting this into the calculator, especially with this one, because you have parentheses, you have to be careful. Now your calculator does not know the order of operations, so you have to do it for her. So I have 98.6 minus 32. I'm going to hit my equal sign. Then I'm going to divide by 1.8. So I get degrees Celsius is equal to 37. Now, if I were to go ahead and do one that says 50 degrees Celsius and I want to know how many degrees Fahrenheit, now I'm solving for Fahrenheit. So I'm going to use my degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times degrees Celsius plus 32. Whatever the degrees Celsius is, that's where I'm going to plug in for my C. So I have degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 1.8 times 50 plus 32. So I'm going to go ahead and put all of that into my calculator. I have 1.8 times 50 plus 32. And that gives me degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 122. That rounds it off for this session. I would like to thank you for joining me. Thank you for choosing UMA. If you have any questions regarding any information covered in this video, please feel free to contact one of our coaches at coaches@ultimatemedical.edu.